Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, I just want to show you these images, which are some images that we had pending. And now I think that you are able to understand it. So here we're going to see what's the difference between a container and a virtual machine. And basically, as I told you, a container is a sandbox that contains processes, one process or more than one process. And here in this layer, we've got an infrastructure layer, which could be where your application is deployed. Then we have the operating system that I told you, and we have Docker in the operating system installed. And in Docker, we can create these namespaces, which are called containers, and we can have the application or the processes inside of this container, which was created from an image. So here we will have all of the libraries, we will have here the Nginx, the Apache, all of the services that we need to build the application. So we have here one container A with these processes, a container V, and a container C. So we could have a container using, for example, a web server, a container V with a database, and a container C with, I don't know, a Redis service for caching or for things like that. And as you see, they all are independent. If we wanted to delete them, then we just delete this container and it's gone. We didn't affect the operating system. We didn't install any library on it because everything is contained in the container, because that's the whole notion of a container. It should contain everything. So we shouldn't install anything on the host operating system because everything is gonna be contained in the container itself. Now, how is the thing with the virtual machines? Well, it's way different here because we have, again, the same infrastructure. It could be cloud, AWS, on-premise, it doesn't matter. Then we have here an hypervisor, which is kind of a manager for all the virtual machines. And now, in order to accomplish this infrastructure, this tiny infrastructure here, which has a web server, a database, and a Redis service, we would need to spin up 3 virtual machines, and each one of these machines should have a guest operating system. And here we only have one because this is only one machine, but here we have 3 machines. So here, instead of having the container with the web service, we're basically installing the web server in the operating system, and here we have the operating system, but we're just creating a sandbox to isolate the web server process. Same thing here in the virtual machine number 2. We have the second service, which is installed in the operating system, let's say the database. But here we have, in the same machine, we have another sandbox, another container, which contains the database service. So if you see the differences here, the first one is that here we're using a lot of resources because you need at least 1 gig in RAM to spin up this operating system, another gig here, and another gig here. That means 3 gigabytes in RAM. And here probably you will only have 1 gig or 2. And the second thing here is that you are having a lot of resources which are probably not being used. And in this machine, you can easily create containers and you can restrict the resources that they are going to use. But here it comes the coolest thing in Docker compared to virtual machine, and that is, what if you want just to delete everything here and you want to recreate it? What if you want to delete all of your containers? You just go ahead and type Docker, please delete the containers, and all of this is gone, and the operating system is not impacted. But here you have all of the libraries and the dependencies installed on the virtual machine itself. So if you wanted to destroy this, then you would need to destroy the entire virtual machine, or going manually and start deleting or uninstalling all of the dependencies and the libraries that you installed here. So here it would take you like a couple of hours to do it, and here it's just a matter of seconds. So that's why Docker is pretty cool. So this is it for this video. I hope that you have now a clearer understanding on what's the difference between a container and a virtual machine. I'll see you in the next lesson.